Today we're going to be talking about Everything Money because, to be honest with you, I'm just downright sick of them. So Everything Money just recently made a video on stock mode, which is perfectly fine. Stock mode is awful. However, what bothers me is when people try to do the whole grifter slang thing, or they go after scammers or bad people who don't know anything about stocks, but then they're not that far off. And that's the main issue that I have with Paul with Everything Money. And I've always had this problem. I've made videos on Everything Money in the past. I made like 3 or 4 videos on them last year. And it's always been the same thing. These guys are known for throwing stones while living in a glass house. The only thing that I could say positive about Everything Money, to be honest with you, is that they're a little bit better than Stock Mo or Chris Sane or Larry Jones or me, Kevin, or Jeremy. They're just a little bit better. But when it comes to actually learning how to invest, making money in the stock market, these guys are just as bad. And that's why I got to call Paul out. Because right after I watched his Stock Mo video, I watched his 3M video. And this is what I mean when I say you can't talk about somebody if you're just as bad. He makes fun of Stock Mo for not knowing anything about stocks and for talking about, Neo stock back at $60. And he's absolutely right about that. Stock Mo deserves all the hate that he gets because he's just an awful, terrible human being. And I feel bad for everyone that is still naive to this day, naive enough and gullible enough to still follow Stock Mo and subscribe to his Patreon and listen to whatever he says. But what blows my mind is how Paul can talk about Stock Mo, but then Paul goes on literally like the next day to make a video on 3M stock. And I watched the video. In the entire 9-minute video, this guy just pulls up his little model. He's got his little formula, his little math formula, whatever he's got, their little 8-pillar software thing. He pulls that up. He basically talks about that the entire time and explains why 3M's undervalued and why it's a good buy. And basically says that him and his buddies over at Everything Money are buying 3M stock. And I'm just like, Jesus Christ, you're such a bad investor. Not once did Paul with Everything Money mention the lawsuit. 3M, the main reason why the stock is down is because of the lawsuit. And this dummy didn't even mention it. That's literally the main reason why the stock is going down so much. So you mean to tell me that you make a video on a stock, but you refuse to mention the number one reason why it's down? It's absolutely insane. 3M is getting sued by like 200,000 former military members. Like a bunch of veterans are suing them because they're claiming that like one of their like pieces of equipment didn't work. So it was something like that. And it's like, Jesus, dude, how do you make a video on 3M and say you're buying it and you don't even include the lawsuit in your thesis for why you're buying it? You just pull up this stupid 8-pillar software and you're like, oh, well, it's undervalued. And this is why this guy always falls for these value traps. This guy has bought so many stocks that have done bad. He's really not that far from Stock Mo. Sure, if you listen to Paul, you'll be down 15% year to date instead of 80%. Fine. You won't be down 80% on your money like you will with Stock Mo and Larry Jones and all these other idiots who have you buying Shiba Inu and Neo at the highs. Fine. But you'll still fall for these value traps because investing is more than a DCF model. Investing is more than just punching in a formula. Investing's not that easy. That's one of the main things that I really dislike about Everything Money. When you watch their channel, they really make investing seem easy. Oh yeah, just buy our 8-pillar stock tool, punch in some numbers, and bam, our 8-pillar software will tell you the right price to buy a stock at. That is not how investing works. And the problem is when you listen to idiots like this and clowns like this, you end up in the situation where you're buying a stock like 3M and you don't even know about the number one reason why the stock is down. I am convinced that the main reason why he did not mention the lawsuit at any point in this video is because he didn't know. Because when Paul from Everything Money buys a stock, he doesn't do thorough research. He really doesn't. You could tell. He's not taking days or weeks to look at a stock, which is what you should do when you're buying a company that you don't know much about. He's not doing that. What he's doing is he finds a stock that he thinks is undervalued. He punches in the little numbers like a little math geek into his 8-pillar software that he's overselling to you guys and scamming you by that. If you buy that, you're getting scammed. I'm just going to point blank period. In my opinion, if you buy the 8-pillar software, you're getting scammed because investing is so much more than that. And it would be better to learn how to construct a DCF model on your own than follow theirs because there are different DCF models out there and there might be one that you might like better compared to what they're doing. You see what I'm saying? Like there's different ones out there for, it just depends on how you invest. But either way, a DCF model isn't going to tell the whole story. I actually think DCFs are overrated. I'm sorry. I really think that DCFs are overrated. I really do. And this guy is a prime example because just look at all the stocks that this guy has bought. Alibaba, how did that go? Bad. This guy had y'all buying Smith & Wesson. Come on now. This guy had y'all buying Sleep Number and Walgreens and you know, just weird stuff like that. I can't remember the other stocks, but he had all kind of crazy stocks that he had people buying. I'm just like, what is going on here, bro? Anyway, let's watch a little bit of this stock mode video. Let's laugh at this guy. While he's laughing at stock mode, we're going to laugh at him because he's really not that much different, y'all. Here we go.
You know, I'm usually a very quiet, a very humble person. Literally, this guy is the guy in The Big Short that Steve Carell points at and says, short everything this person touches. I think Cathie Wood is smarter than this guy, than Stock Mo. We've watched his videos before. He is literally an idiot, and this might offend.
But Paul, you're an idiot too. You've gotten so many things on investing wrong, and people have already called you out for it. Strongman literally called you out for getting like something very simple and correct. I forgot what it was, but it's something where a real stock guru, a real investor wouldn't get wrong. And that's not the only thing. You've gotten so many different like accounting principles wrong and different things like that. Like you've been wrong so many times. Like Paul, you're an idiot too. Okay? Like I get that you're rich, and keep in mind, you're only rich because daddy has money and your dad gave you money, like you inherited money. You're not rich because you actually made the money because of your own intelligence. You're not smart at all. I've watched so many of your videos. Like you are just as bad. You were one of the worst investors on YouTube. You're just not as bad as Stock Mo, but you're still terrible.
You, if you don't like people being shat on, because I'm about ready to probably, I've never seen this video, but I get this guy's an idiot. He brags about winning an investment club. Literally, investment clubs have nothing to do with investing. Literally, guys, remember one thing. There's a difference between a stock falling, but you have a good process and a good understanding of fundamentals, because a stock will fall just because the market's falling or for random reasons. Peter Lynch always says, I've bought stocks at 13, bought them all the way down to 2, and then watched them explode to 50 or 60. There's a difference between buying a cash flowing business that's already a good value and the rest of the market taking it down, or some perception taking it down.
See, all of this sounds good. He's good at speaking. I see why people like him. But again, you guys have to understand that everything this guy is saying, he doesn't even follow on his own. He makes it seem like, oh, investing is this. And, you know, it's not that easy, guys. You got to do this. You got to do that. But honestly, guys, his process is not that much different from Stock Mo. When Stock Mo finds a stock, all these guys do is they find a stock that they like and they make up some BS reasons of why they think it's a buy and why they think it's going to do well. They're not giving any actual real research or a real thesis behind why they think it's going to go up. They're really no different than retail investors. He's not that much different from Stock Mo. The only difference between him and Stock Mo is he uses a DCF model. That's really it. He uses this little stock analyzer tool. But in terms of actual analysis and understanding of investing and how to make money in the stock market, these guys are very similar. Keep in mind, Paul still to this day never shows his returns. What does your boy Echoes always tell you? If you're listening to a stock guru that won't show you their percentages, won't show you their returns, you got to cut them off. That's dead weight. Those people cannot be trusted because there's a reason why they won't show you. And if you just look at all of Paul's stock picks, it's pretty easy to figure out that this guy has not made much money in the stock market. So that's really all I got to say about these guys. I just had to make this short video because I just got to make it plain out here. I know we're going to have some crybabies in the comments. We're going to have the Everything Money supporters. Paul is our hero. He's the greatest ever. Well, I just want to ask you one simple question, Mr. Paul is my hero. Have you ever made money listening to Paul? Have you? Oh, okay. That's what I thought. I'm sorry. Did Smith & Wesson make you money? Did it? Did you make money from Alibaba? No. Did you make money from Walgreens? No. Are you going to make money from 3M? I don't know. You might. I mean, honestly, I actually like 3M. I personally haven't bought it, but I've definitely been looking at it and I definitely like it. But regardless, one of the things that worries me is this lawsuit, something that Paul didn't even mention in his thesis because he's a terrible investor. Okay, that's it. That's all I got for you guys. Thanks so much for watching. See you guys in the next one.